Good evening, folks, and welcome. It is round number 9 of ESRL Division number 1, and we find ourselves here for 100% qualifying, a full qualifying session with Q1, 2, and 3 here at one of the oldest street circuits on the grid. It is Monaco, and as you can see, it is nighttime. The lights are on, illuminating this city-state of Monaco for tonight's proceedings. There's a car sneaking out onto the track there of, not Finley, but he does love this track. It's Jack Alaco, the Scotsman, making his way around. Who then will get the best of Monaco, and who will have the better got of them at Monaco? Time will tell. Let us take a look over the standings. Let me get this up. Sorry, I'm a little bit underprepared, but that is fine. Reserve, check-in, standings. Oh gosh, I can never get used to the layout of the ESRL server. I don't spend a lot of time in it, so I should probably change that. I'm sure Scott won't be happy. No, I'm sure he's very happy to have me here covering this Monaco Grand Prix session. That's not allowed, Jack. What are you doing? Excuse me. You just missed 2 corners there, son, or at least 3. Go back and do that again. Bad Jack Alaco. There you go, stewards. We caught him. I'm still trying to find his standing. There they are. I found them. I found the standings. Alright, let's take a look then. I'll open these into my browser so I can see them a little bit better. That's your drivers. Here's your constructor standings. As well, let's open that in the browser. Right, let's take a look then. Johnny Stokes, championship leader on 114 points, ahead of Luca Rapassa, just a point behind him. Then there's TF Martin on 94, 20 points behind the leader, of course. That put him 20... I've lost 19 points behind Luca Rapassa there as well. There you go. I can maths. Jordan Lancer on 77 points. 7 points behind him is Clemo, rounding off the top 5. Lewis AP on 62 points. Tied with Short Marcus down in P7. Lifebout on 50 points in the Red Bull. Speed Alcoholic on 36 points, and then there's 24 points for Scotty here, who rounds off the top 10. Then there's Finley on 22, tied with Reshka. Then there's Scott on 12, Glowstick on 10, tied with Cialda. Then there's Jack Alaco, Aces vs Kings, Danny Van Rooten, Lost Super Spy, Matty Jones, Palang, B17LDE, Womax, and JAG Greg, rounding off the 27 drivers who have competed in Division 1 this season, as Jack Alaco sets us off with a 1 minute 13.663 on the medium compound tyres. I love that little roll of the R there. But anyway, the Constructors' Championship, though, looks a little bit closer. 3 teams in the runnings. Mercedes on 147 points. They are 5 points clear of Red Bull, as Isenborg goes fastest now out on the track. Then Ferrari just a few points behind the Red Bulls there. 4 points behind, in fact, the Red Bulls in P3. Then there's McLaren. They are not too far back, only 10 points behind the Ferrari outfit, so they're not out of it as well. They're a bit of a dark horse, but they're there. Then there's Alfa Romeo on 69. They are 5 points ahead of Williams. Then there is Aston Martin, 10 points behind them in P7. Then there's Alpine on 43 points, Haas on 19, and AlphaTauri on 10 points. And hello to the 3 people watching. Let us get ourselves stuck into this qualifying session as Johnny Stokes puts it in P3. Championship leader driving for Ferrari. Let's see who else is out on circuit right now. How about Reshka coming to finish a lap, it seems, around this Monaco track. He goes into P3 now at 11.3. A real driver's circuit, this one. You either love it or you hate it. Hello again, Speed. It almost seems like a few moments ago that we saw his Short Marcus. It's not raining. It's not raining, Marcus. I'm not sure what session he's in. Clearly just putting a lap on the board. I don't know why. It could end up raining in the race, Marcus. You might need those intermediate tyres. He definitely won't. Here's TF Martin in the Red Bull. German driver. Staunch opposition. He's too quick for slicks. yes, he is. Is that why he's on inters? Is he not allowed to qualify speed? Let me know. TF Martin, though, his arch nemesis, his teammate gets out of the way but gets in the way, and Martin invalidates at the Nouvelle Chicane, and that's his lap lost. There you go, it's done. Here comes Womax. Doesn't look like he's on a lap, actually. I think he's on a second out lap. So no there. I think that was Godzilla. No, that wasn't Godzilla. That was Cialda putting in a decent lap time of an 11.1. Not a bad go for the Alpine driver. But still, Luke Raposa leading the way. 1 minute 9.438 for pole position now. And he's retired from the session in the pit lane. He reckons no one's going to beat that. Okay. Well, I guess it's Q1 actually. I'm thinking this is a short qualifying session. It is not. He is safe for now. But if you don't know how if a full qualifying session works, you should do if you're a Formula 1 fan. The top 5 the top 15 go through to Q2, and then the top 10 go through to Q3. That means there'll be 5 places to be lost in Q2, and then there'll be 3 places essentially to be lost in Q1, as we don't have a full grid. Says it's going to be dry throughout, says Speed. Okay, and Speed is out there on the track too. He is in the pits right now. That is why he is talking to me, your commentator this evening. How are we all doing, the 3 people watching? I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you're enjoying. Come get involved. It's not me and Ghost tonight. I think Ghost is busy. I don't know what he's doing. Probably something maths related. I don't know. I'm just chatting absolute nonsense now, but I'm sure he's up to something fun wherever he may be. But you've got me tonight as Finley. No, somebody's just put it up there. Lost Super Spy, perhaps. Let's just put it up there in the times. I'm waiting for somebody to go and start a lap because I want to follow them along. Is that going to be Palang? No, into the pits he comes. And he's had enough. P11 for the Alfa Romeo right now. Who is going to come out and do a lap for us? Here's QB, making his way through the swimming pool section. Now, great section of track to drive. You know what, I've really found a good appreciation for this circuit over the last sort of year or a couple of years or so. And especially now that I've gone on my wheel. There you go. Now we've got drivers coming out for laps. Let's follow along with TF Martin, because he'll be the first to go. And I must say, this Monaco Grand Prix does really suit a nighttime run, doesn't it? Does look very nice. Maybe that'll be Formula One's next gimmick. They'll do a nighttime race for Miami, for Monaco, and it's not nice and well lit, so as far as the game is letting us aware of. But here we go, TF Martin through the final couple of corners, and it's going to be full throttle all the way down now. This somewhat straight in towards turn number 1, then up the hill we go through this narrow section. Thread the needle to get as close to the barriers as you can, then through turn number 3, through Casino Square now we go, and avoid that bump on the left hand side, avoid the AlphaTauri on the right, and it's fastest in sector 1, but he's not set a time. Now we come through this tight hairpin first gear, probably the only corner that any car takes in first gear around in Formula 1, and then we come towards the tunnel now. Through we go. The car sounds fantastic through here. Cars get out of the way. Martin is coming through into the Nouvelle Chicane now. Through he goes. That's better. That's not too much curb on entry. And now in towards this awesome high-speed section. Really on the limit through the swimming pool section. Through all these chicanes. Tap on the wall for Martin as he comes round to Rascasse now. And through the final corner. What lap time is the Red Bull going to set? Let's see, comes down towards the line. It's 1 minute 9.9 for TF Martin. That will see him comfortably into Q2 on that tyre. A few drivers in danger right now. Scotty and Speed, they've got to put a lap together. Speed's coming around to do so. Let me actually get a track map of Monaco up. I feel like I need one to remind me of some corner names. Monaco track map. There we go. Sorry if you can hear me typing in the background. There you go. As Speed comes out of Anthony No's corner and puts it in P6 on the mediums. Not a bad go for it. There you go. Let's get that up. Get that big image up. That's it. That's the one. There you go. Now I can do Monaco properly. There's short Marcus. 4 seconds up on his previous. This is going to be a quick one. Loves Monaco, as he said in the paddock before the race. Down to the line he comes. It's P3 for Marcus. I'm sure he's got more in it, but that'll see him nice and safely in towards the session. But as I was saying, Scotty in danger of being eliminated in Q1. QB as well. Scaparo, these three all in that drop zone there. Scaparo out on track now, trying to rectify that current situation of his coming through Raskas and then through Anthony Nose, which is that little sort of kink where that DRS sign is. And Scaparo, he'll be going for it now, I think. Through Saint-Devant we go. Beau Rivage, the next corner. Then Massenet, then Casino. Mirabeau, apparently there's like 5 corners called Mirabeau. According to this map. Then there's Portier, the tunnel. Oh, the Grand Hotel hairpin as Scaparo hits the barrier at Mirabeau. It's pointing to like 4 different corners called Mirabeau. It's weird. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's the right-hander before the hairpin, which is the Grand Hotel hairpin. I guess it's sort of pointing at the whole section, but weird. It's a weird layout for this track map that I'm looking at right now. But we know, then the Nouvelle Chicane, of course, to back Louis Chiron, Piscine, or the swimming pool section, as everyone calls it, Raskas, and then Anthony Knows. I know the corners. I just don't commentate at Monaco all that often. Hello to the 7 people watching. I'm sure most of you are drivers. Going on so far. I'm sure one of them is Short Marcus. My biggest fan, of course. Mine and Ghost's biggest fan, I guess. I mean, you know, Ghost is great, I'm great, but when we put us together, it's something else. A commentary duo that rivals the likes of Brundle and Crofty. Not to put any shade on Martin Brundle, of course. I see. I knew it, Marcus. I knew it all along. Good evening. I'm sure there's a grin from ear to ear, Marcus, as you're at Monaco right now. From what I heard, what I read, I guess. As we've got 4 minutes left of this Q1 session. The drivers are out there putting in the work. Trying to get themselves nice and comfortably out of the drop zone. Godzilla there. Looks like he's running the Aiden Jackson helmet. I'm loving this. This track is immense on the limit. It is, isn't it? It's a really good track for just. I think it's probably the track that gets you closest to feeling like a Formula 1 driver. You know, just being able. Also, credit for hearing my beautiful voice. I'm sure. I'm charmed as we go through, but it's the track that gets you the closest feeling of being an F1 driver, I think. And when you nail a lap around here, it feels fantastic. And when you finish a race around here, even, it feels great. Here's Palang, looking to get himself a bit further up the grid. Could be a possible time to be eliminated, but I think we have our bottom 3, although Scotty here says, no thanks, I am shooting my way out of that drop zone. And Jack Alaco now in danger. Will the AlphaTauri venture back out onto the circuit? If he's got any hopes of getting out of this Q1 session, he's got to. He's found himself in the drop zone now. Scott's in trouble as well. He's out on track right now trying to rectify that. Let's see who is going to be the next driver to come through. It looks like it's going to be Womax, making his way down towards the Nouvelle Chicane. Now you can see the motion blur as you see the lights go past as well. It's quite weird, but there you go. Through to back he comes in Aston Martin. He's purple in the middle sector, so fastest of all apparently. How accurate that is on the game, I do not know. He's only a 100th up on it. Hope you enjoy it tonight, mate. Look, Monaco, the best bit's qualifying. Everybody knows that, in all honesty. The race isn't normally anything to write home about. I mean, I don't know if any of you have been in a commentary booth for a Monaco Grand Prix. You could have enjoyed the barrier speed, but sometimes it can be hard to find things to talk about as very deep into Raskas goes. Super Spy in the Red Bull. I think that's lap over through here. I love the race. Love the race in racing, not when watching. Yeah, it's not the most thrilling when watching. I will say that much about Monaco. It's not great. Oh no, has Jacko binned it? I think he's binned it. Or did he slow down? With Max retires on the session. He doesn't look like he's got damage, Jackalacco. It would be absolutely detrimental to his campaign to get out of Q1. How about Scott in the meantime? Making his way through. QB's on an out lap 2, about to start one. Let's see then. Which drivers are on a lap? Well, it's certainly not Scott anymore because he's just spun. And that's his lap over. If any of these bottom 3 can improve, that would be Scott out of the session for now. Let us see. Eisenborg looks like he's on a lap. Super Spy definitely not on a lap. How about the Alpine of Godzilla? No, not on a lap. So we go back to Eisenborg then. Coming down towards the Nouvelle Chicane. What's the Williams got underneath him? Let's see. Nice and tight through Nouvelle. Not too bad from the Williams. In the middle of the track. Get over to the right to back and then through. He's not on a lap. No, this isn't going to be a lap for him. As he goes through, you can see just by how easy he's taking it out there. The body language of the car speaks volumes. Scaparo then through to back he comes in the Mercedes. One of the drivers in the drop zone. Can he get himself out? Coming through the swimming pool section into Raskas now. The Haas peels out of the way, but very deep. That's going to ruin his lap and any attempts to get out of Q1. And yeah, no, that's it. A 10th improvement, but not enough. Jacko, meanwhile, does do enough to get out. The Scotsman puts the lap together, drops Scott into the drop zone. QB invalidates his lap. He is going to be out. So that is your Q1 session done. We have lost both Haas cars, Scott and QB, and then Scaparo in the Mercedes as well as we move on to Q2. As I was saying about Monaco, I think as a commentator it's difficult to sorry Scott, says Jack in the chat, it's difficult to boring races are difficult, right? Because you can't comment on the fact that it's boring, at least in that much of a blunt term. I think you kind of have to suggest there's not a lot going on the track, but then you kind of got to try and find those things to talk about, you know. So let's take the Hungary race in APP for now. Sure, there wasn't a lot of side-by-side action going on, and when there was, it was quite exciting. But, you know, talking about how certain drivers are doing, how things are going on, that's what you got to do, and that's the sort of skills it takes to be a commentator in this line, well, to be in this line of work, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. Luca Repassa then, fastest in Q1, TF Martin, Short Marcus Reshka, Finley, Cialda, Godzilla, Super Spy, Scotty here, Speed, Johnny Stokes, Jacko, Eisenborg, Palang and Womax all making it through the headline, of course, of Q1. Scott, Scaparo and QBV not making it through to the next session. Scott not happy. I think you might have to get the band hammer out for that, Jack. Bonk. Out you go. You beat me in Q1. Although a case could be made that Scott ran out of talent as he came through Casino. Oh dear. I'm just on one today. First I attacked Scotty here. Now Scott himself. Speed like that one. Q2 then, 15 minutes on the timer, starts to tick down, the pit light is green, and we are ready to go again. You need talent to begin with. Sorry Scott. Hashtag sorry Scott, says Marcus in the chat. Hilarious. Oh dear. It's all banter. It's all banter, folks. All a bit of banter. Let's see. Let's have that telemetry back up. I like to have it up through qualifying just because it helps me identify if drivers are on laps or not. Out comes Cialda. Really putting that to his limits. Bad hammer coming for me too, Marcus. I think he might be coming for me as well, to be fair. How do you be fast at this track, Sumo? Oh, I'm not very good at this track, Speed, but I'll tell you one thing. The first one is don't hit the wall. That's the obvious one. But at a circuit like Monaco, you've got to get dialed in. You've got to tune yourself in. You've got to find that sort of that flow between yourself and the car. You've really just got to be on the very limit. You've got to not be scared. You've got to be confident around this track as well, because I think that's where a lot of the pace comes from. If you could be confident, if you know how to place the car through these tricky sections, these tricky corners, these corners and sections of circuit that just come right at you, you can succeed at Monaco and get a lap in there. But even when you put all that together and you think, I've put in a pretty good lap here, then you've got someone like Luca Rapassa or Short Marcus going about 3 seconds quicker than you, and you think, I thought that was quite a good lap. But no, it's all about being confident, trusting yourself, and your experience on this track as well. Not hitting the wall helps a lot. I can say that, as Isenborg is going to show us here as he comes through Beau Rivage and then up towards turn number 3, which I always forget the name of. It's Massenet, that's the one. There you go. Great advice, thank you, Speed. I try my best. I try my best with all this. The hotel hairpin there. As the Williams comes down towards Portier and now the tunnel as well. Wants to start off this Q2 session with a decent lap, I'm sure. Does Isenborg, 76. Clears the McLaren through the Nouvelle chicane. Takes a nice amount of curb, not enough to see his lap invalidated, however. Let us see, can he get himself a decent enough lap time? That's currently fast. The corners just come at you around a track like this. And I appreciate this circuit more on wheel than I did controller, for sure. Let's see then, down towards the line for Isenborg. It's an 11.3, setting the pace then. Although Finley, a 10.2 already. How about Luca Rapassa? He's out there. He's about to come across the line. Goes fastest once again, a 1 minute 9.4. Finley got a lot to do. Short Marcus not set a lap just yet, but we'll see. Godzilla on a lap. Let's see what he's got. At 11.7, I'm noticing you don't use a lot of battery around Monaco, do you? You get to about just over 50% of battery usage, but it's not. Honestly, you don't spend a lot of time on throttle around here, just because of how many corners there are. There's only probably a good handful of flat-out sections. As there's an Alpha Tauri in the wall. Which one is that? It's not Jacko, it is Finley, but I think he might have just been getting out of the way. That, or he's doing a Rosberg. If you don't know what that is, it's parking it up to cause a yellow flag, to cause your teammates slow down and essentially lose their qualifying lap, which Nico Rosberg may or may not have definitely done during a qualifying session when he was teammates with Lewis Hamilton. But there you go. Short Marcus through. Anthony knows what has he got in him. Is he going to be able to challenge Luca Rapassa? Not quite. Get into the 1 minute 9.9s. but it's got to find 5/10 of a second in order to be in the hunt for pole position, really. Now short Marcus in the McLaren, but I'm sure he's got it in him with how much he enjoys this track. How about Scotty here? P13 currently in the drop zone, but doesn't have a lap on the board. Let's see what he can do. Takes a little less avoiding action at the bump. Street circuit notoriously hard to sort of get rid of bumps and stuff like that, especially that one. You'd have thought they would do something about that, but Scotty here, a slight kiss of the barrier on the exit of the hairpin there. Through Portier he goes, get nice and close to it. Of course, Luca Rapassa again retires from the session, confident that that lap is enough to see him through, and I think he'd be right to do so. I think anybody in the 1-minute 9s or those high 1-minute 10s has got a case to retire there. I think if you're in that sort of range from P10 to P7, you're in danger. Want to join party, Ghost? Have you got time to come and co-com with me on Monaco? Oh, wow. Let's see. Ghost invited me to a party. Let's go. Let's join with Ghost. A surprise visit. Here he is. Hello, Ghost.
Hello. Yeah, sorry I'm late. But thanks for covering for me. I didn't realise you would be until I joined the lobby.
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm here. Scott messaged me a couple days ago before my rota came out. Asked if I was free, and the gracious man that be my manager put me on the morning. Your favourite commentators now here. I mean, what? Excuse me, Marcus. Change that to favourite commentators, and you'd then be the correct statement.
Oh well, how's it been so far, Sumo? What's happened in Q1?
Well, there's been a lot of excitement, really. We've lost 3 drivers, of course. 18 drivers started this qualifying session, and we lost Scott, QB, and Scaparo in the Mercedes there as well. Scott ran out of talent going through Casino and put it into the wall, as it's so easy to do with that corner short. Marcus retires now as well. He's done enough for this evening. But favourites for pole position right now, Luca and short Marcus, although it's quite a mountain to climb to find 5/10 around here.
Yeah, I think there's only one favourite for pole here, Sumo, and it's Luca. He was talking about getting into the 1-minute 7s.
Wow.
Earlier. Short Marcus is capable of 1-minute 8. Definitely capable of getting into the 8s. But yeah, Lucas said that he's aiming for the 7s. So if he doesn't win by 2 pit stops, it's frankly embarrassing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the situation in my opinion.
I'm sure there'll be a few drivers who are perhaps praying for a bit of a hefty tap on the wall as Speed Alcoholic comes through. And actually, Ghost, I'm not the best to judge Monaco, but Speed asked me, how do you be fast at this track? You got any advice for the drivers out there?
You have got to be so confident in the car at every single part of the track, and you've got to just send it. If you don't absolutely send it, then you're going to lose over half a second compared to what you could do. And on other tracks, you'd lose, like if you took it fairly easy and didn't fully push, you'd lose maybe a couple of tenths at most, 2 or 3. Monaco, it's easily 6-7 tenths or plus if you don't push all the way through. It's just so punishing all the way, and you've just got to have that confidence. You've got to have that belief that you can do the laps that you're capable of, and yeah, it's just all about that, and of course keeping it out of the wall, and keeping it as close to the wall as possible without actually touching the wall.
Yeah, it's really maximising the limited track space you have out here. Got to have confidence. I think that's where our advice is are paralleled. Have confidence and keep it out of the wall. Is basically what we both said in the fewest words possible at the moment. But we've got only 5 minutes or so left. It's starting to get into sort of squeaky bum time for those bottom five.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's Jacko, Eisenborg, Palang, Wumax, and Lost Super Spy, who hasn't set a lap yet. All in that drop zone right now. And, well, by the looks of the times, they're going to have to put in one heck of a shift to not stay there, as there's a 7/10 gap between Cialda and Jacko for P10. And then it's very close from Cialda all the way up until Mar 10. Yeah, Lost Super Spy is the only wild card here. He hasn't set a lap. I think Wumax as well is capable of a lot more than that. So, yeah, I think Cialda will not feel safe, but from my perspective, he seems pretty safe, even in P10.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot. It takes a lot of effort to find time here at Monaco, and I think if you're struggling for the confidence, then you don't quite get there. And I think when you find a sort of time bracket that you sort of sit within, it's hard to kind of push yourself out of that unless you sort of, you go on to, you boot up the game or the sim, if you want to call it that, and just pound lap after lap after lap after lap of Monaco to just try and nail it out there as well. And drivers like Finley, he's safe right now. He's coming through the final couple of corners there. The Anthony Nose corner, that's it. And across the line at 1 minute 9.5 from Finley. That's an improvement there. Hello, Short Marcus. A challenger has entered the ring.
Yeah, big lap from Finley there. On the back of his win in Hungary about an hour ago. Yeah, he's looking pretty good there. I think, obviously, Luca has a lot more time. But, Finley did that on fresh tyres, though, and he didn't really need to. And I wonder if that could cost him when we come into Q3, as Cialda comes through Sector 2 at the moment. It's looked like a pretty hooked-up lap as he nearly bins it there through that left-hander, but just about keeps it together. And into the final couple of corners he goes. Is it going to be an improvement? We'll have to find out as he comes through Anthony Nogues and to the line.
Wumax just ahead of him, who I've been watching, an improvement, but not enough to see his position change. Cialda, I think, might have improved a tiny bit.
He was 18 thousandths down.
Ooh, down by just the smallest of margins. And how about Palang? 3/10 up on his previous. Can he find any more in Sector 3? If he can't, he is out of the session, as he won't have much more time to set a lap. P11 misses out by 0.4 of a second. A shame for Palang. I don't think he'll have time to come in and put another set of tyres on, and I don't think the tyres he's currently on will do a good enough lap to see him progress.
Yeah, I saw Lost Super Spy just completely go straight over the chicane, so he's going to have to try again. As Wumax comes through, he's 1/10.5 down as well, so I think that is going to be the end of Wumax's qualifying. He's not going to be able to improve from P14. The best he can hope for is that Lost Super Spy doesn't beat him before the end of this session. 1.5 minutes to go, enough for just about 2 laps if you're just starting a lap in the next 30 seconds.
Yes, of course, and I think a lot of drivers might be opting for two out laps here. Does the game lock you into a high amount of fuel for a qualifying run around here, Ghost?
Yes, it does. I think it locks you into something like 5 laps or so. At minimum, it might even be 6. So yeah, that could be why they're doing 2 out laps. It could also just be for tyre temperature. I think that's probably the more likely thing, Sumo, because it's the track is so short. It's difficult to get the tyres warmed up to where you want them to be. I found that in Hungary a couple of hours ago. I was doing 2 out laps because the tyres just weren't warming up enough for 1 out lap.
Yeah, I did notice that as I was watching along from my perch up high in the comms box. As Marcus says, minimum fuel was 4.2, I think.
Okay.
Enough to do 2 laps. He also said as well he did a 9.3 last night in PSGL and lost 2/10 in Rascasse. So his aim is to match that this evening. So big talk from Marcus to go quicker. I'm watching Godzilla come through. He is going to be the next driver to set a lap, trying to go quicker as he comes through the Nouvelle chicane.
Jacko into the wall at the hairpin, and that is going to be his quali session over. Eisenborg improved by quite a lot, but it wasn't enough for P10. I think Cialda's just about safe unless Palang can pull out a worldie here. Lost Super Spy's got no front wing, so it won't be him. What can the Canadian driver in the Alfa Romeo do? He's coming to, he's 1,000th up on his previous best in Sector 2. He's going to need a Max Verstappen Sector 3 in order to get P10, but he's gone very deep and he's into the wall and he's out of qualifying, so Cialda is safe.
Yes, he is just about there. Well, I say just about. There was still lots of time to find as well. Godzilla didn't finish his lap in the end. He backed out of that one. But I think that is our Q2 session. And it is Eisenborg in the Williams, Palang in the Alfa Romeo after a crash, Jackalacco in the Alfa Tauri, Womax and Lost Super Spy still out on the track. But I think he's just doing a little bit of just a walk of shame back to the pits as he goes for a spin. Yes, maybe some donuts. A bit premature for that one, I think, as he comes through. But nonetheless, those are your bottom 5 in this Q2 session, which means the stage is set for a Q3 where, well, Luca is looking for pole, so it's all about the fight for who joins him on the front row in P2.
Yeah, absolutely. Lost Super Spy manages to set a time. It's a blistering 1 minute 52.6.
Incredible.
Which, yeah, I think no one's going to beat that.
No one. No one at all. That would struggle to get you far at the longest circuit on the grid, let alone the shortest.
It's a decent lap at Spa in the wet.
In the wet, yeah, of course. Right, let's run you through the finishes then. Here is what? Cialda's out? That's not right. That surely can't be right.
Oh, what?
Hold on. That's weird.
Why has it done that?
I don't know. Let's see if it puts him back in. That's weird. But Luca, Finley, Short Marcus, TF Martin, Reshka, Scotty Hare, Godzilla, Johnny Stokes, Speed, and as far as I'm concerned, Cialda has found their way through into Q3, and then Eisenborg, Palang, Jackalacco, Womax, and Lost Super Spy have felt the effects of Monaco biting back.
Certainly have. And I'm fascinated to see who's going to line up P2 here, because Short Marcus, surely the favourite, but Finley put in a great lap there. Martin, I've seen put in some good laps at Monaco as well. I know Cialda's good at Monaco if he's in. He's not. The game has kicked him out. So we're only going to have 9 drivers in Q3 here. Unusual. And I feel sorry for Cialda. That's very undeserved. But anyway, he will start from P10, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know why it's kicked out Cialda, in all honesty. That's very strange. I'm trying to see if there's anything going on in the chat right now, but there's nothing. How weird.
Yeah, huge shame for him. This is typical of Cialda's luck. Yeah, exactly, Scott. 100%. I've had some unlucky seasons in my time, but honestly, Sumo, I don't know how much attention you've been paying to ESRL this season, but Cialda, he cannot catch a break. He has smashed a mirror at some point in the last few months, I'm sure, because it just every single week something goes wrong for him. It's just... I feel for him, I really do. I'm hoping that he can have a strong end to this season and start off next season with a bang, but yeah, the more unlucky races he has, the less likely that looks to happen.
Well, Ghost, you are preaching to the choir here, mate. I'm not going to lie. If there's anybody in APP, and I suppose in ESRL, at least in my limited commentary role, who has had the harsh effects of unlucky seasons, it is myself. Whether we're talking about not scoring a single point during the entirety of Sprint Season 3, being killed by Vardy during a championship hunt in Sprint Season 4, or my current run of luck in Tier 2, finishing only one of the 6 races so far. Yeah, it's just I know how it feels, Cialda, so yeah. Welcome to the club, population us.
Well, looks like Speed Alcoholic's going to get us set off in Q3. There's 10 minutes to go in the session. He's coming through. It's an 18.5 in the first sector as he comes into this twisty, difficult middle sector. Very, very slow part of this track. I think it's the slowest part of any track on the calendar. As he comes down through the tunnel now towards the chicane. It's looking decent so far from Speed as he comes towards the chicane. Is he going to take it well? Fairly well. Could have cut it more than that, but not too bad from Speed as he comes down towards the last few corners on the circuit now into Sector 3, through the flat out swimming pool section, through the next part and into the final couple of corners. Really easy to lock up there, but Speed does it perfectly well. Through the final corner, Anthony Noakes, and down to the line, DRS Open for the South African. It's going to be a 1 minute 10.8. I think he's going to be disappointed with that. He'll want more than that, especially as Finley's just put in a 9.4 to get us set off with a competitive time. That's very, very strong.
Yeah, really on it as Godzilla goes with 11.2 just behind. I think that's Scotty here starting a lap. Luca Rapassa, the favourite for pole position by many, many regards. Let's take a look, see what he does. Let's bring up my data as well as we go along. Luca with starting a lap. Never mind, yes. Don't listen to me.
He was doing a second out lap. Same as Short Marcus. Reshka goes up to P2 with a 10.4, sorry, which not too bad by all accounts. Remember, Reshka in cockpit cam permanently. I think Godzilla's the same, so even worse for them. I think Scott, Cialda, and maybe one more also in cockpit cam. So much respect to them for sure for doing Monaco in at midnight with cockpit cam. Must be a nightmare.
No, I've done cockpit cam a couple of times. I don't mind it, to be honest. I think it's not it's not as difficult. It's certainly harder to see immediately in front of you, but I don't think it's too much of a, it's not too much of a downgrade really from the other cameras. It's not that bad. I used to race a lot in cockpit cam back when I played Forza quite religiously. Scotty here goes P5. There's Luca Rapassa's 1 minute 8.5. The lap time that nobody's going to get close to, and he'll peel into the pit lane and call it a day for this qualifying session. What about TF Martin? Can he get himself up there?
Yeah, we're about to find out. DRS Open to the line. It's a 9.6. It's not as good as Finley's that, but it does put him into P3 for the defending champ. Johnny Stokes, championship leader by 1 point. He's not going to be championship leader after this race, but as far as I'm concerned, Johnny, you're still the championship leader, even if Luca's ahead of you. As he has the DRS Open down to the line. It's a 9.7 from the Ferrari driver, not too bad. And yeah, I did a whole season of cockpit cam sumo. It's I agree, it's not too bad. It's just more difficult to see the apexes, but that's what real life is. So I understand the people that go for it. But yeah, it was good fun. I think Monaco was in that calendar as well when I did that cockpit cam season, and I don't think I did too badly there. So yeah, it's a decent track actually for cockpit cam, because it's not so much mattering about hitting those apexes at full pelt. It's just about avoiding the wall, and being in the cockpit sometimes helps with that.
Yeah, it's so difficult, says Speed Alcoholic in the chat. And I've actually got a friend who, Ash, who sometimes watches along now and again. This is a friend in question, of course, and she races in VR on Formula One when she chooses to. which I'd like to try at some point actually, because I think that would be awesome. To race Formula One in VR. Imagine that. I mean, cockpit cam's one level of immersion, but you ramp up that immersion in 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 VR. I'd imagine. Here's Short Marcus. He's on an out lap. Loves this track. He's said it multiple times in the chat. He said it in the paddock as well. As we go, cheering on Marcus is his teammate Speed from the pit lane, of course. Only car out on track. Although it looks like Luca is he wants to go faster. Ghost, he's not done.
Well, he's heading out on the wets, Sumo, so I think he's just making a point. His classic esport driver mentality. But anyway, Short Marcus coming into the final sector. He mucked up his first lap, so it's a pressure lap for the Briton, and he's going to be absolutely devastated if he can't put a lap together in this quali, as his aim is going to be the front row. DRS open, and he goes down towards turn 1. Here we go for the McLaren driver. It's not too bad through turn 1 at all. He'll be happy with that as he comes up to, I think it's Casino, isn't it? The left-hander. Okay.
That's Casino.
There we go. And then the right, very nice from Short Marcus. Brake at the last light section of the wall on the left-hand side, but he's locked up into the hairpin there. He's not going to be happy with that through Sector 2. It's a bit of a scuffed lap so far from Short Marcus as he goes through the tunnel down towards the chicane.
Yeah, quite scrappy through there, down all the way towards Portier as well, through the Nouvelle chicane now, cuts it nicely through there, very close to the wall though, and he's backed off.
He's not happy at all. He's going to go again for a second run on the same tyres, I think, but he is really under pressure now, Short Marcus. It's 2 laps he's mucked up, and there's only 3 minutes to go. He does not want to end this session in P9.
There's Luca on his wet tyres. We'll gloss over that one. Finley's making his way out he's on the track now, actually. But a few drivers who've chucked their hats in the ring. Johnny Stokes there too, who's chucked his hat in the ring for this P2 position. So it's a few more drivers chucking in, and if Marcus can set a lap, he may end up right next to his old mate, or I can't really call them mates, can I? Of TF Martin. If you know, you know.
Yeah, he might well do again. He locks up into the hairpin, and he was also losing the rear through turn 1, Sumo. He's really struggling to get a good lap in. He's pushing so hard, but he's over pushing, I think. And the last thing he wants to do is not set a lap as he comes into the chicane now, locks up again, nearly puts it in the wall, just about holds it together, but that's going to be another few tenths lost. And he's into the wall on the exit. There, and I don't know if that's front wing damage to Marcus. It might well be superficial front wing damage. Through the final 2 corners he comes. He's got to go for this lap. He can't come into the pits. There's not enough time. He's going to be absolutely gutted with this lap. It's not what he can do at all, but it's still enough for P2 and 9.4, and he's still going to be annoyed with that, I guarantee you.
He's not met the target, but he's certainly reached P2 in decent fashion as well. As Scotty here invalidates any chance of setting another lap out there. Johnny Stokes is on an out lap. So the next driver to come through, it won't be Finley, in fact. It won't be Short Marcus either. But he's thrown down the gauntlet for the rest of the grid to do something about it. I think Godzill's going to be the next driver to cross the line, and he's coming up to some traffic.
He certainly is. He's got Finley just there and Marcus a few corners ahead, as well as the Ferrari too, so he's got to watch out a bit here as Godzilla. He comes through the right-hander, but now through the tunnel, Marcus gets out the way, and he's got some space again through Sector 2. So kind of Lewis Hamilton-esque helmet, that is, isn't it? The purple and yellow. As he comes through the chicane, it was a bit too late on the brakes from Godzilla. Didn't quite get it stopped in time. As he comes through the left-hander now, a bit conservative. He's a 10th up, but he needs a lot more than that to beat speed to P7. Through the final couple of corners, he comes in the Alpine. There's a Ferrari just ahead, but he should be just far enough ahead to not get in the way. Across the line for Godzilla. What's it going to be? It's looking okay, and it's pretty good. A 10.1 P6.
Yeah, P6 just behind this man, Johnny Stokes. Short Marcus retires in the pit lane, of course. The Ferrari, our championship leader, hits the wall on the exit there, through the swimming pool section, through into Rascasse he goes, and into the pits. That's his run over that tap on the wall, just a little bit too much. TF Martin through Anthony Notes, now a little slide as he goes through, lucky to keep it out of the wall, comes up to the line, no, a 9.5.
Oh dear, he was a 10th and a half up after Sector 2, but a poor Sector 3 from Martin, and he's consigned to the second row, and Finley gets on the curb at the hairpin. He is not going to improve, I don't think, unless he absolutely nails the final half of the circuit. Who's this? Godzilla, also on a lap. He's 2.5 tenths up. Johnny Stokes, I think, improves to P5 there, or was that speed improving to P6? That's what it was. In the McLaren, great lap from the South African. Godzilla slow through the final corner, no improvement for him. Scotty here is invalidated, so can Finley put something special together in this final sector to take P2? No, he can't. He's locked up. He's hit the wall on the exit, and through the final corner, he's wiggling the car. It's going to be Marcus on the front row, but goodness, he made it difficult for himself.
Yeah, he was 2 tenths down when we switched over to his point of view. So no improvement there, and that's it. That's your qualifying session. Q1, Q2, Q3 has seen the times put in, the work put in to try and see who's the fastest. It's Luca Rapassa who's going to take pole position here by quite some margin as well. And, well, I think we all know he could have probably gone quicker as well.
As far as I'm concerned, Sumo, P2 is pole.
Yeah, there you go then. Well, Luca Rapassa then on pole position with Short Marcus 8 tenths of a second behind, who also got onto that front row with wing damage as well. Finley P3 with TF Martin P4. Johnny Stokes rounds off the top 5 with speed. Godzilla, Oreshka and Scotty here rounding off the rest of the top 9. With Cialda 10.
Yeah, Cialda should be here, but that's unfortunate for him. But look how close those times are, Sumo, between what is basically pole position and P8. Very, very close. So it could be a decent race, this one. It's all going to be about the pit stops. Who goes for the risky strategy? Who goes for the biggest undercut? That's what it's going to be about here.
Yes, certainly. Clear air is what you need at Monaco to really put in the lap times and get those undercuts or overcuts, whichever strategy it is you're going to go for here. Because overtaking, it's an option, not a great one.
Not unless you can pull it off. You've got to have, usually you've got to have either a lot more pace or a lot better tyres than the car ahead to even think about going for an overtake around here. There are a few spots which are pretty good for it. Turn 1, not really an overtaking spot, despite the DRS zone, but the up the hill and through the left and then right hander of Casino, that's an overtaking spot. The very next corner can be as well if you really send it and get it stopped. And also the chicane if you're feeling brave, but I wouldn't try and overtake at the chicane unless you get an incredible exit out of the previous corner. And then past that, that's not really anything. Sumo, is Rascasse the penultimate corner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can maybe send it into Rascasse if the other car leaves the door open, but other than that, that's pretty much all you got.
Certainly so, and as everybody knows, the the tradition of Monaco is if you're going for a move into Massenet, which is turn 3, you must then, just as the move's about to be completed, cut to Lance Stroll to check in and see how he's getting on.
Yeah, without a doubt. Short Marcus going for the soft tyres, Sumo. He's going for the ultimate undercut. We saw Krauser do this in Tier 2 a couple seasons ago in APP F1, and he went soft to hard, or I think that's what he did. Yeah, soft to hard. He pitted very early, got an incredible undercut, and won by over 10 seconds. But I'm not sure if Marcus is going to be capable of that. He is going to undercut. He will take the lead of this race as long as he doesn't bin it at some point. But it's all going to be on Luca to catch up and then overtake him. So that's what we've got in prospect. It's pretty good prospect, actually, as long as Luca doesn't gap him by a pit stop straight away, of course.
And there it is then, powered by AWS. The strategy for this evening, hard to medium, or medium, soft. How accurate's that, Ghost?
Hard to medium is a bad idea. I'm really surprised over half the grid have gone for it, because the undercut's just so good. There's not really any point in starting on the hards. It's got to be mediums or softs if you're feeling brave. But mediums for me it has to be, because you want that undercut. If you end up behind a driver, it's very, very hard to get past. So yeah, I'm surprised so many people have gone for the hards.
Well, Scott will be hoping to jump all 7 of those cars ahead of him in that Haas, but we're about to line up on the grid, and once again I'm given an awful camera angle. Please fix this, Codemasters, please. It's been 2 games now. Gosh, riding on board with TF Martin, waiting for those 5 red lights here. It's round number 9 of Division 1 ESRL, and we have 5 red lights, and we are underway and racing for the Monaco Grand Prix here, and Short Marcus has got away very well, but not well enough to keep challenge Luca Rapassa in towards centre vault there. There's a lot of cars going side by side in the background though, as they climb the hill through Beau Rivage, and there's a Ferrari, no, a Red Bull round.
That's lost Super Spy, yeah, all the way to the back. I think there was more contact as well back there, but safety car has been glitched in Monaco for 4-5 years now. So unless they've fixed it for this game, I haven't heard that they have, but no safety cars today.
No, indeed. That will be not an option for any other drivers then. So if you spin, you're at the back. I'm sorry, but, you know, don't lose talent at Monaco.
Absolutely. Well, it is Luca who has the lead from Short Marcus, and I think all Marcus has got to do is his goal here is going to be not to get a pit stop behind Luca before they come into the pits. That's got to be the objective. But he could run into trouble with such a big undercut. He's going to run into slower cars who are still on the hards or mediums, and he's going to have to overtake them. So he's certainly made a race interesting for himself, but remains to be seen whether he can pull this off.
Yeah, and he's also got to worry about Finley behind him as well. Finley's keeping him honest. He's sticking with him for now. Is Finley on Short Marcus? So there's that extra sort of fly in the ointment, if you want to use it there as well. And Martin and Johnny Stokes aren't far behind either. And this top 5 will be very close. Speed will be wanting to try and break into that if he can. But don't expect too many overtakes, I wouldn't have thought, through here, because it's just not that much room for it right now. We're waiting for this pit window to open. Thankfully, it will open early for the likes of Short Marcus, who, he'll be trying to keep Luca honest.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's doing a decent job at the moment. We're only on lap 2, of course, but within 6/10 of the pole sitter. And he's gapped Finley a little bit, but Finley comes back at him through the last couple of corners on the circuit. Martin already losing out on those hard tyres and nearly binning into the wall at Anthony Nogues, just about holding it together. I think we're going to see a lot of slides through that final corner today, Sumo. Yeah, Martin struggling, but Johnny Stokes is going to be frustrated, I think. in a few laps' time, as he realises that there's no way to get past Martin unless he colossally screws it up.
Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah, it's going to be soon. I think he'll start feeling that frustration there, and you might see a bit of a queue forming up, as Martin might act as a bit of a bottle cap in this sort of bottleneck, you could say. As the top three, they've all checked out. They're gone. That's it. It's 2.2 seconds now. The gap. Martin won't be catching up to that, and perhaps a mistake from the Red Bull driver to go on to the hard tyres at the start, as Speeds had a little bit of a wobble at the Nouvelle chicane, took a bit too much curb perhaps, and has lost some time.
Yeah, he's doing well though, Speed. Johnny Stokes. Oh, Martin tags the wall at Raskas with his rear tyre. Just about gets away with it, but wow, that was close to his race being over. He's got to be really careful, does the German, because he seems pretty inconsistent right now. But Johnny Stokes still just sitting behind him. There's someone round, that's Palang at the final corner into the wall by the looks of it. Martin, a huge slide again through Casino and just about saves it. How on earth does he still have a front wing?
I'm not sure. He's just holding on, and he's looking super slidey through the hairpin as well. And look, like I said, those other cars behind, they're closing in, they're catching up. That's QB round at the Nouvelle chicane. That's the yellow flag there. He's almost going to be lapped already, is QB, but he'll keep plodding along as he always does. I'm sure he'll probably finish, to be honest. And now Speed's caught back onto the back of this train, and Godzilla and Reshka and Scotty, they might all do so in about a lap or so as well.
I hate to say it to him, but QB might be in danger of the 90% rule here, because I can't see him finishing within 5 laps of the leader, to be honest. But Johnny Stokes has the DRS, not that it does anything, down towards turn 1. Luca Rapace already gapped Marcus by 2 seconds, and I think I'm going to continue to ignore Luca Rapace from this moment on, until he pits. That's my plan, Sumo.
Yeah, so we're watching Short Marcus, Finley as well, both locking up into that hairpin there as well. Could we have an overtake? Perhaps Cialda down the inside of Mirabeau, and just about gets it done. Slips down the inside of Scotty here. They made some contact, but that was relatively clean between the two of them.
Very nicely done from Cialda. The first competitive overtake of the afternoon, I should say, evening. Both in-game and in the real world, as Cialda has that place. He's up to P9, and his next target's going to be Reshka, about 2.5 seconds up the road.
Well, I was saying during qualifying, Ghost, that this could be F1's new gimmick. Night race at Monaco. What do you think?
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah, I think as well what they need to do around this track. The purists will absolutely hate the idea of this, but I think down towards what's the corner before the tunnel? What's that one called?
Yeah, I said it a minute ago. It's I'll just get the track map up again. It's Portier.
Portier, that's the one. I think they should install a sort of joker lap at Portier, which every driver has to take a certain number of times per race, or like once per X laps or something like that. Because I think that would make things a little more interesting. Purists will despise that, of course, but just a bit of an idea from Rally Cross. I think it could spice up Monaco a little bit.
Yeah, it could make it a bit more interesting, I suppose. Give it, a bit more to sort of do, and make sort of overtakes a bit more possible. I mean, even if it's a driver overtaking, although maybe logistically it might not be. I don't know how easy that would be to implement, to be honest. As into the pits is Godzilla.
Yeah, I think there's some space down there. there's a bit of runoff area, but yeah, Godzilla straight in. That must be waiting down there surely. Yeah, fresh front wing for the Alpine driver, and medium tyres, which you can, believe it or not, take to the end from here. It's you'll be struggling at the end, but for sure mediums will go to the end from here. So I wonder if Godzilla will try that.
Somebody who's running quite well at the moment, Scott, ESRL's league owner, doing a decent job in the house, hasn't put it in the wall over the last 7 laps. I've just cursed him right now, so he'll probably bin it within the next 3 laps. I'll say though, Isenborg got himself past Jackalacco, and now Jacko is right on his tail trying to get back past. Also, Finley on the tail of short Marcus. He's not letting this one go.
He's certainly not. Marcus is going to be struggling with those softs now. Well, not struggling, but he'll have hit the 20% mark, I think, by this point on the tyre wear. So he's going to start having a bit more oversteer on corner exits. But yeah, Jacko just losing out to Isenborg now for P10, it looks like. I think the Williams has the edge on the Scottish driver. And Scott just sliding his way through Anthony Noakes, about 1.8 adrift. We've got a nice little 3-car train for P7 right now, led by Reshka, with Cialdo and Scotty up there as well. And maybe Isenborg can start catching up, as all 3 of them are going to slow each other down.
Perhaps, and that could also invite Jacko into it if he can stay with him. Then perhaps Scott, if it goes on for long enough. But I think Scott will be getting close to that pit window now. What do we say, Ghost? When do you come in on the soft tyre?
That's a great question. I wish I could say for sure, but I'm not so. He's probably going to be looking to come in around lap 12, I would say, at a guess, but just from what I know of the medium tyres. But Finley getting himself a 3-second track limits penalty. Now those around here, surprisingly easy to get, as Finley very deep into turn 1 just about avoids hitting the back of Marcus and avoids the wall, but that could have been a disaster. But yeah, talking of turn 1, one of the easy places to get a track limits warning. You can also get one at the chicane very easily, because you've got to cut straight across it to get the best line. And also the swimming pool chicane as well. So 3 spots really where you can get track limits penalties pretty easily.
Another close battle out on track. Palang and Godzilla. Different tyre compounds, fresh tyres of course on the Alpine, and looks very, very racy on them, but is struggling to do anything with that. He's Palang ahead of him, 8 laps off as he touches the wall twice through this casino, and then straight into the wall, Mirabeau.
Yeah, he's braked too late there, has Godzilla. He's going to be straight back into the pits. He's going to be frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised to see a retirement, to be honest.
Safety car.
Safety car. What? They fixed it.
Wow.
I can't believe it.
Who knew?
Wow. Well, the safety car's out, Sumo, I guess.
No, something nobody saw coming. A safety car at Monaco turned the procession into a procession, I suppose. What do you do now? No one was expecting this. No,
that's well, big decision for a lot of drivers. I think particularly short Marcus. I think all of the top 7 here who've just been past the pit lane already, or maybe not Womax, but certainly the top 5 just got past the pit lane as the safety car came out, so they couldn't come in on that lap. But I think all 5 of them should really be in. Martin can take mediums to the end from here for sure, and then the rest are going to go onto the hards, I would have thought. Unless Marcus wants to go for mediums as well. Who knows? I think he's the one I'm most interested in. But everyone else should pit.
Let's see what our tamed esports driver does. Comes into the pit lane then. And he's going to pop on a set of hard tyres. From what I can see, there's Alfa Romeo mechanics dragging out of the garage. Short Marcus into the pits now as well. on his soft tyres. The McLaren team bringing out the hards too. How about Finley? Is he going to go onto hard tyres? Most likely, yes he is. Hards for the AlphaTauri driver.
Johnny Stokes has stayed out, so he's going to be P2, but I think that's a big mistake from the championship leader, to be honest, because he's gonna have to pit, and then he's going to be behind everyone. So he's got to really make the most of the tyres that he's on. But speaking from experience, at around lap 13, they get really difficult to drive on those mediums. So he's gonna have quite a task on his hands here, and I think he's made a strategic blunder there.
Yes, I think so too. It's going to be difficult for him. I think not coming in. It's a free stop essentially. He may as well have done it. And with this safety car fixed, it's. Well, I mean, it's like a safety car is going to be an option. Although, saying that, it's a safety car for what is essentially just debris on the track.
Yes.
And, I bet you any money that there'll be a huge crash in the swimming pool section that would block the track. In real life, would red flag a race, and it'll just be a virtual or none at all.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That was basically what happened at Spa. Every race that I saw there in last year's game, you just had someone lose the rear into turn one, and just slightly tap their front wing against the wall on the exit, and lose one end plate, and it brings out the safety car. That's what it did last season, or last year's game at Spa. So I've got memories of that.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Here's hoping that F124 will rectify that. Game announced for there's always hope, Ghost. But given that the game,
Womax. Sorry to interrupt you. He nearly binned it under the safety car. Just about managed to keep his front wing, but he did hit the wall.
Oh dear, they're waiting for the rest of the drivers to get caught back up then. Poor QB, there'll be no chance of him getting back into this race now whatsoever. So that is a shame for him. Although, is he this? Yeah, no, he's in between. He's in between Johnny Stokes and Sean Marcus there. No chance. As Scott is the Haas that I'm currently following, so you can see that white dot of the Haas toward the front of the train there. Three dots behind the yellow dot, which is Bert Mylander, of course, in the safety car. Yeah, given the fact that F124 is being released on the 31st of May, the fat chance that any bugs have been fixed.
Yeah, thank you EA for that one. By which I mean no thank you. By which I mean piss off and go back to football.
They can't even do that now. Oh, they don't have FIFA on their side at least anymore.
Yeah, true. It's annoying for league owners as well, because you plan your seasons around it releasing in June, or last year I planned it releasing at the end of June and then it released at the start of June. This year I've planned for it to release at the start of June and it's released at the end of May. So yeah, it's irritating for league owners as well. And yeah, I wish EA would leave F1 alone, but they saw dollar signs and here they are.
Yeah, much like the Formula One management at the moment, but we won't speak on that too much. And it's annoying. It is a topic for the podcast for sure, which you should all go check out. By the way, APPF1 podcast. We're 3 episodes in. Episode 4 will be out on Monday, barring any unforeseen delays, of course. Where you can possibly expect my review for Drive to Survive. I haven't actually taken any notes yet, so if I get the time, I'll do it. If not, then it'll be episode 5 for sure. I'll get that in there. But of course, we'll be talking about the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is tomorrow. I hope you're all excited for that. But yeah, it's annoying that we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. We're going to go for a restart. So let's go to our race leader, Luca, or you could say it's Short Marcus if you're that way inclined.
As Johnny Stokes.
Johnny Stokes. Well, yeah, Johnny Stokes, but he'll have to pit at some point. Luca's gone. Jacko got a 5-second time penalty for collision, I think, and Luca's left everybody sleeping.
Yeah, well, Marcus has got stuck behind QB. That's the problem, Sumo. As QB gets diligently out the way, but he was far too slow through those last couple of corners, and Marcus is going to be fuming without that. Martin makes a competitive overtake on Scotty down towards turn 1. What a move from the Red Bull driver as Reshka goes into the back of Scotty. Somehow they both get away with it, but bit of a chaotic restart thanks to QB holding everyone up. Cialda down the inside of Womax at the right-hander's speed follows him through as well. Really good overtakes from the both of them. Jack Alaco looking for a little move on Eisenborg there for P11, but decides against it into the hairpin. Yeah, Luca Rapassa leads by 3 seconds, and then Johnny Stokes 2 seconds ahead of Marcus thanks to that confusion from QB. Yeah, Marcus can be fuming, but he's already catching Johnny at a rate of knots. And yeah, that decision not to pit really going to cost Johnny Stokes here.
Yeah, certainly. So 4.3 already is the gap between Johnny and Luca there. And we'll go back to once again ignoring that gap. As Luca sets the fastest lap as well. And it's very slidey. Is the Ferrari of Scotty here at the front of this train for P6 at the moment. We could have another overtake on our hands, Ghost. And I was going to say, Cialda's had a very happy hunting ground. Round the outside goes Oreshka through Sandevot, and Cialda's going to get involved now too. Through Beau Rivage, they go side by side round the outside of Massenet now. This is the best action we've had in 15 laps of racing, and through goes Cialda as well. His happy hunting ground of Nirabo was gone, and here's Speed now too, wanting to get involved in the action. The Vulture trying to pick up the scraps, not on this occasion.
Oh, great racing between all 4 of them there. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. That has highlighted the race so far by far. But we could have another overtake as well soon, because Short Marcus has caught up to Johnny already. That was 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds not long ago, and now it's going to come to 0 as Marcus goes down the inside. Can he get it done? Oh, he has to back out. He's still side by side through swimming pool, and oh my goodness me, they've all gotten through unscathed somehow. Finley loses out, backs out as well, as Martin has to do the same. But wow, very, very close between them, and Marcus is going to want to get this move done up the hill, I think.
Speed's made a move in through Raskas by the looks of things. We just missed it. Godzill's out of the race. Is this another safety car? He's crashed out the exit to back. Yeah, no chance.
Nope.
It'll come out for debris, but not for a car stopped on the track.
Wild. Here comes Marcus down the inside. Here he goes on the exit of Casino. There's contact as Marcus understeers into the Ferrari, but the move is done. Johnny lets him go, and the championship leader is going to lose out here. He's got Finley next up looking to go through. Scott's also binned it out of Casino.
He's done it again.
Oh, that's such a shame for the Haas driver, but yeah, he's going to have to hope for another safety car, but fat chance of that, I think.
Yeah, considering we just lost an Alpine right here, and nothing, no concern from Bernd Mailander at all. Didn't look like he was going to go anywhere. Probably reading the newspaper or something. I don't know what he does in that safety car, but down the inside Finley goes Finley through Raskas. Saw an opportunity and snatched it immediately. No hanging about. Reshka's getting involved in this battle now too, as is Cialda. This is turning into quite a scrap for that last place on the podium.
Yeah, they've all lost so much time to Johnny Stokes, and Martin gets the move done up the hill. Good overtake from him as well. And now Reshka's going to be next up. That Ferrari's so vulnerable. 16 lap-old mediums will be screaming on that Ferrari as Reshka sees him lock up just ahead as well. And he'll know that he's vulnerable, but he's going to have to wait patiently for an opportunity to get the move done here, is the Aston Martin driver. Cialda's there waiting as well. Yeah, he's got to take those mediums quite a long way.
Yeah, he certainly does. And we'll see as they go. And Cialda has looked quick too, so Reshka will have to look. Finley, another time penalty. 3 seconds for corner cutting once again. I think he's up to 6 now. We'll check in a moment or so. There's another battle going on further back for P9. You've got Scotty, Isenborg, Jakalaka and Palang all involved in that skirmish.
Yeah, it's good stuff, good racing at the moment. Johnny's into the pits, he's had enough of those mediums. I don't blame him at all. He was just cannon fodder at that point. But yeah, Reshka promoted to P5. He loves this circuit, does Reshka. He always tends to run well here because he's such a consistent driver at this track. So where everyone else falls, he picks up the pieces. He's had a win around this track before as well, he's told me. Yeah, I don't think that's on the cards today, but certainly a top 5 finish perhaps, and perhaps even a podium if Finley gets any more time penalties and someone bins it up ahead of him.
Yeah, Scott in the pits. Got more wing damage. Is he just going to retire from this one? No, he's coming out of the pits actually, so he's repaired his wing damage. Maybe his ego a little bit as well, and he'll get back out onto the track and hope that he doesn't drop it again. Isenborg round the outside through the Nouvelle chicane. That was very close between the Ferrari and the Williams. He's giving it back though. Illegal
he's hit
maneuver.
The wall as well. Oh, Isenborg, that has gone horribly wrong. Had to give the place back and then hit the wall while trying to give it back. Understeered straight into the wall. He's definitely going to have wing damage. It's probably only superficial. Probably won't be visible to our screens, but he's got to have wing damage from that, and he's going to be struggling. And Jakalako senses weakness. He looks for a move into turn 1. He's going to have to go for it up the hill instead. He's using his ERS, but decides against it, and he'll have to wait for a better opportunity, perhaps on the exit of Casino.
Yeah, thrilling stuff. Jacko all over the back of this Williams now with, you know, the olive green ring damage, the technical term for it in the F1 game, of course. Jacko, it smells blood in the water of the wounded Williams up ahead of him, but he's kept behind for now, maybe just by the walls of Monaco. But either way, Jacko on the hunt once again. TF Martin closing that gap to Finley. He'll be searching for that podium and he'll get it, I think. If all he's got to do is stay right where he is. It's 6 seconds of time penalties for Finley, 5 for Jakalako and 5 for QB.
Yeah, I think it was a pit lane penalty for Jacko under the safety car, which is pretty unfortunate. But these things happen. Marcus has a 2.3 second lead on Finley now, and he's doing exactly what he set out to do today, which is to come second place, just basically first place, let's be honest, as he has a nice little Tokyo drift around the hairpin that holds it together. Yeah, Finley under pressure from Martin, but I think Mar's going to have to find a mistake from Finley to make a move. Not that he needs to, thanks to that time penalty.
You know, we need to summon a ghost.
Yeah.
Ayrton. Where is Ayrton? Or
I don't think even Ayrton would have a chance.
No.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it would be good to have Ayrton back. I can't remember why. I know last season he was injured, so he wasn't able to race. But now I think it's just his life circumstances have changed and he can't do ESRL anymore. I think, which is a huge shame. For, you know, 3-time champion. So it always sucks to see a 3-time champion not be able to race anymore in that championship. But yeah, it would be cool to see him back.
Yeah, it certainly would. And I was actually on the similar note. I was watching a video of the late great Murray Walker, God rest his soul, best Formula 1 commentator. Even though I probably never actually watched a single race that he commentated on, to be fair. But I've seen highlights, I've seen bits, I've seen enough. Anyway, he was talking about another great man in the sport of Formula One, Ayrton Senna, and how his name's actually pronounced Ayrton, rather than Ayrton, like the British pronounce it, I guess. And you know, for a while he pronounced it Ayrton, and then the spectators were like, why aren't you saying it's Ayrton? Why are you saying Ayrton? And then he changed it. Then the next race he started saying Ayrton like everybody else. And then in a interview or conversation as Martin has come into the pits with the man himself, he asked Murray Walker what happened to Ayrton. It just shows how aware of Formula One the late great Ayrton Senna was, when he was, of course, still in the sport. Just a little story for you there.
Sorry to interrupt you, Simon. Yeah, that's a great story. We need to bring out those stories for Monaco Grand Prix, don't we?
We do.
But Martin, why is he letting people through? What on earth?
I think he's had to give it back, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe the game gave him an illegal overtake through turn one. But honestly, I'd have taken the penalty and got it removed in the stewards. Because now he's got to fight his way past 3 drivers instead of just taking the 5 seconds on the chin and having to get rid of it later. Yeah, he's going to struggle now. It's the German, especially when he hits his rear tyre into the wall there, and he's had to let Johnny Stokes through as well. And well, it's gone from bad to worse for the defending champ. After it was looking like he was going to have a really good race today, and now suddenly within 1 lap it's all come unstuck.
Yeah, he is. And he goes into I think that could be a retirement there.
That's a retirement. Gotta be.
Retirement from Martin. No, he's going to serve a penalty. Oh no, he's just stopped. There he goes.
He's left the session. He hasn't even retired, so Scott might have a word with him about that. But Scotty here, meanwhile, his namesake, going through past Womack's into turn 1. The struggling Aston Martin on those 22-lap old hards. No match for the fresh medium-clad Ferrari. As Martin out of this race, but the rest of the grid continue. And, well, that is step 1 of Reshka's path to the podium today. Step 2 is now Finley getting another penalty.
Yeah, it is, and considering how many he's got, it's not unlikely at all. All he needs to do is pick up perhaps 1 or 2 more. And like you say, easily done. I mean, in turn 1, easy to do it. I'm trying to think of other places. Well, the Nouvelle Chicane, of course, all of those chicanes through Sector 3, really, and the end of Sector 2. And that's about it, I think. Those are probably the big problem zones. Unless you really mountain the curb through the hairpin.
Yeah, no. Reshka putting in a very good performance, as he usually does around this circuit. But yeah, he's going to need a big mistake from Finley. He's gone into neutral by accident at the hairpin. Just as I was watching, I've cursed Reshka there, as he loses a second due to that error. But yeah, 10 seconds to Finley now, so he's going to need the AlphaTauri driver to make a mistake. But given Finley's form at Singapore, all the races I've seen him do at Singapore so far this season in ESRL and other leagues, wouldn't be surprised to see Finley bin it at some point, because I don't think he finished a single Singapore race. He did about 5 of them, and I think he DNF'd in all of them towards the end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, he's there may only be 14 and a half laps left, but it might as well be an eternity around this circuit.
Yeah, well, I love a Singapore Grand Prix, me. The biggest show of pace I've had, and then I decided to crash on turn 14, on lap 14. You know, that's the way of racing, as Jacko comes into the pits to get off that old rubber there. Those mediums done. That's Luca, 3-second time penalty, not going to matter.
Oh no, he's going to win the race by 25 seconds instead of 28. What a shame.
What a shame.
But yeah, Johnny Stokes trying to put Eisenborg under pressure now. The Williams and the Alpine of Cialda are the only ones now left on those medium tyres who pitted under the safety car, as Finley has gone up to 9 seconds of penalties, and Reshka's he's brought the gap back down to 9.3. So the podium's still very much on for the Aston Martin drivers.
Scott's binned it again!
Oh no, in turn 1, Scott.
Oh dear. This is going to be the longest 3-point turn you will ever see. It's so hard to get these cars turned around without just flooring it. There he goes. About 5-point turn there for Scott. But he's back on the road again. Might have a bit of olive green damage. Hopefully none on the rear end.
Johnny Stokes really putting the pressure on Eisenborg here. That Williams is going to be struggling big time on those mediums, as the championship leader looks to gain another place. He's going to hope that Cialda pits as well, because that will gain him yet another spot, and he'll be up to P6, which, considering his strategic blunder under the safety car, wouldn't be too bad at all. But he's got to get this move done on the Williams, I think. I don't know if Eisenborg's going to pit, neither does Johnny. So as far as he's concerned, he's got to make this move.
Indeed, he's got to try and get past as soon as possible. If he's going to see off Scotty, who's closing in. But Monaco, it's not easy to do. And the battle for that podium place, that continues onward. As Cialda now has entered the chat.
Yeah, he certainly has, but he is on those 16-lap-old mediums. He can take them to the end. Whether he will is another question. We'll have to find out. But yeah, he's going to have to get past Reshka. And look who else has entered the chat, Sumo. Speed Alcoholic, who said he was dreading this track. Scott's retired in the pit lane. He's had enough. But yeah, Speed Alcoholic. He's on controller, of course. Well, I think we owe Speed many plaudits. Taking this track on controller. I'm sure there are others on controller on this grid, but considering that Lancer was too much of a coward to take this circuit on with the controller, I think plaudits have to be given to Speed here, and here he is within a very good shout of a top 5, maybe even 4 finish.
Wow, and you add on top of that Speed's just also come from a 50% race around Hungary as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big round of applause, really, as it's two races that he's essentially done. And there's TF Martin's car still roaming around on the track. The Ghost.
Great run in Hungary as well.
Yeah, he did have a great run in Hungary, as we mentioned it, indeed. Big plaudits.
Yeah, here he is in P6. I do wonder whether Eisenborg and Cialda will come into the pits, or if they're going to hold this out. Cialda, a huge slide through turn 1. Could this open the door for Speed? He's using the ERS. He sees Cialda's vulnerable. He looks to the inside, down towards the left-hander. It's going to be a switchback at Casino if it is going to be an overtake, but he can't quite do it. But Cialda, no ERS on that Alpine, and Speed still has 40% left. It's so hard to gain back ERS around here as well. So Speed, as soon as Cialda makes another mistake like that, I think that McLaren is going to see his way past. But still a mammoth task, and it's a mammoth task for Johnny Stokes as well, who's in a very similar situation.
Two prancing horses chase after the Williams just ahead of them as they go through. The penalties there. There's a yellow flag. That's QB again. At Mirabeau, he looks like he's parked in Nico Rosberg's reserved parking space. As he's gone through, as Johnny Stokes continues to look for a way past.
He certainly does, as does Speed. Cialda now dropping off the back of Reshka briefly. And Reshka's dropped a lot off the back of Finley in the last few laps as well. Speed pretty good through that corner. Sorry, Johnny Stokes pretty good through that corner. Eisenborg very deep through Raskas, but there's nothing Johnny can do. to take advantage. He's going to have the DRS down towards turn 1. He's going to have to hope Eisenborg gets a poor exit, but he's got his teammate to worry about here as well, as both Ferraris have a huge drift through turn 1, and Scotty gets the better exit. Johnny Stokes down to P9 when he was looking to take P7.
Yeah, Scotty a big slide wide for Johnny Stokes, which sent him to a slight collision with the wall there, and Scotty with the fresher tyres and the better run up the hill gets the move done through Beau Rivage and into P8. Let's see if he can get past this Williams.
Yeah, Scotty here's turn now. He's on 7 lap old mediums. He's using that ERS. Can he make it into the chicane? No, he's going to have to back out of that one. But if he can get a good exit here, it's too good an exit. He gets a warning, and it's his third one. Track limits penalty for Scotty here, up to 3 seconds, and that is good news for Johnny Stokes, as he now sits in a net P7.
He does indeed. We'll take another look at the penalty situation. Let us see. That's the one I need. 3 for Eisenborg, Scotty here. 5 for TF Martin, QB. 9 seconds for Finley, and 3. And here's
Scotty
the
to
move.
the outside of turn 1. Can he make it work? Not quite. Eisenborg breaks late and keeps the place. Brilliant racing between the two. Scotty looks left, right, left again. He can't find a way past through up the hill. Eisenborg very, very early on the brakes compared to Scotty through the left-hander. Johnny Stokes nearly into the back of his teammate, nearly again as they approach the next corner. And wow, a lot of battling going on here, but Eisenborg somehow still retaining P7. What a job he's doing in that Williams at the moment. He's still got 8.5 laps there to fend them off though, and Scotty gets a great exit out of the right-hander down towards the tunnel. There's no ERS on Eisenborg, but Scotty can't stay behind him as they go through the tunnel and breaks too late and has to cut the chicane. Surely will give that place up to Johnny Stokes. Doesn't, in fact, but he gets himself another 3-second time penalty, and it's 6 seconds to that Ferrari now.
Yeah, Scotty here had some very, let's just say, harsh words to say about the Monaco street circuit moments before the race, which I won't repeat here on stream. But if you are an ESRL member, as he goes down the inside once again, takes a look, doesn't quite go for it on that occasion. But you can see what he said.
He's opened the door for his teammate.
Here he goes.
Johnny Stokes up the hill, side by side, just about keeping it together. That could have easily ended up with both of them in the wall. But good racing between the two. These two, of course, didn't have the best start to life as teammates this season in Abu Dhabi when they came together in qualifying and took each other out. But ever since then, it's been Johnny Stokes well on top in the teammate battle. But Scotty here, even if he loses the place on penalties, wanting to get one up on his teammate today.
Yeah, 2 Ferraris fighting hard. I think Fred Fazor is going to be head in his hands at the moment watching this one, or perhaps not even watching the pair of them go through. Scotty's still hunting down this Williams. It's a bit of a lost cause, really, considering the time penalty he's got as well, because he'll gain places, but then he'll lose them. And we'll take another look at the penalty situation, as again he goes along to try and make the move around the outside. He's drawn level, but still the Williams holds
Here's
firm.
The switchback.
And there he goes up the hill.
Lovely.
Will his teammate follow him through as well? He has opened the door for Johnny. Round the outside through Massenet.
Oh, he's at the wall.
Oh!
He took it too far, did Johnny Stokes, but he has made the move. I don't know if he's got damage, though. Probably some superficial damage as a mistake from Scotty just ahead. He manages to keep it out the wall as well, but very well executed by Scotty there. That's what he should have done the first 3 times, but he tried to keep it around the outside, but the switchback always does the trick around turn 1, and Eisenborg's stern defence finally comes to an end. We also have a battle for the final point as well between Jackalacco and Palang. Jacko will be delighted if he can get a point from this race, but he's got to get past this Alfa Romeo to take that coveted P10.
Yeah, Palang, he'll get his elbows out for sure against Jack Alacco there. We've seen some good some racing between these two in times past, whether that's been ESRL or APPF1. We'll see what Jack Alacco can do. He's on those soft compound tyres, probably the better tyre, although they'll probably both fall off around the same time, considering where we are in the race. But here he comes, looking to the outside. No doing, but Palang slides.
No!
Oh no!
Oh, there's nothing Jacko could do about that. Palang binned it on his own, but Jacko will be very happy that ghosting is on as he phases straight through the Alfa Romeo, and look is at him. He's into P10 and he's looking to score a point from this race. He's just got to survive for another 5.5 laps.
Yeah, Palang just binned it on his own there. And let's hope it doesn't kick off in the chat. I hope there's no miscommunication there. As Johnny, 3-second time penalty again. That's not good.
It's certainly not, and there's 6 seconds to his teammate up ahead. But I do wonder if Scotty will be able to get that penalty removed for cutting the chicane and get it downgraded to a warning. So Johnny goes from a net P7 to, well, he's still a net P7, but it's a little more nervy for him now.
Yeah, closest battle now goes to the Speed and Cialda, two drivers who must be running on the very framework of the tyre that is attached to their cars there. 24 laps old and counting.
Cialda's doing a fantastic job on those medium tyres, I have to say. And if he can hold Speed behind him here, he'll be my driver of the day from today. Speed, though, comes too deep into the chicane and rear ends the Alpine. I don't know if there's damage to the McLaren. There could well be. It was quite a hit, but he might have gotten away with it as he hits the wall again on the approach to a swimming pool. Is a bit rattled, is the South African, by that contact. He's got to just get his head together and try and get this move done where possible. Cialda, though, has managed to recharge to about 55% ERS, so he's got plenty to defend with for these last 5 laps.
Yeah, life about roughly around 40 to 50% ERS there too, so he's got some to use at his discretion as he goes along, but he's still holding on. Maybe not any sort of damage, might have just been lucky on the point of contact perhaps, but either way he'll still continue to chase after it at the moment, as Reshka's now like 4 seconds up the road and Findlay has cleared that gap. We'll see if he's got any more penalties. He hasn't so far, so no podium in sight for Reshka for the time being.
Well, that gap has been steadily coming down, actually, between Reshka and Findlay these last few laps, but not coming down fast enough for the Aston Martin driver to get himself a podium here. As Speed Alcoholic continues to chase after that P5, but yeah, what a stern, dogged defence this is from Cialda. To hold that top 5 place. It's not over yet. 4 laps to go for these two. But yeah, I think Cialda, great chance of holding on here.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he's got the added advantage of the track that we're at. Monaco, not an easy track for overtaking. Speaking of, is it? No, never mind. That gap is completely wrong. Scaparo's ghosted, driving around on his own, but it says he's a 10th behind Womack's, which is completely incorrect.
Good one. Very good F1 game. As Palang goes round again, that's into the swimming pool section this time.
Oh dear.
As Jack Alacco now gets himself a time penalty, but where he is, it won't matter for him, thankfully. He'll be able to retain that point as it stands. And Speed Alcoholic still trying to find a way past this Alpine. 3 laps to go at the end of this one. Can he manage to get himself in the top 5, or will he have to settle for P6?
We will see. Palang out of the session, retires in the pit lane. He'll have finished 90% of the race though, but it won't matter, he won't score anything. As the points only for the top 10. So his race came undone in the dying stages. And that ghost car of TF Martin, that'll be of some use perhaps to Cialda, but they're probably going to pass it right here through Massenet. There they go, straight through that car. Can be quite the distraction actually, a ghosted car on the track when you're trying to hold on, as that's Womack's getting lapped by Short Marcus.
Yeah, especially through Casino and the corner before, where it's a blind apex anyway. So when you have a ghosted car to get through, as Speed did just then, at the same time, it can be very, very distracting. But thankfully they get through it okay. And Speed now, the laps are running out for the South African. 2 laps to go at the end of this one, as he has a bit of a moment on the exit there. And Cialda, I don't know how he is driving so solidly on those 27 lap old mediums. The Speed nearly runs straight into the back of him. If you looked at these 2 cars and didn't know which tyres they were on, and had to guess which one was on 28 lap old mediums and which one was on hards, you would guess the other way around. Cialda looks so solid.
Yeah, he does. I think, you know, there's one thing to say about taking it easy in a Formula One race, and in a race like this where it's hard to pass anyway. If you just keep it steady, slow and steady wins the race and all that. And that's what Cialda's doing. I think he's just focusing on not doing anything drastic, keeping the car on the track, and he knows he can defend this. He's got the track on his side, essentially.
Yeah, he certainly does. And it's only going to be 1 lap left for Speed. He's run out of overtaking opportunities on this lap, I think. So he's going to have to do something onto lap 39 of 39. But can he get it done? Reshka has caught up to Finley by another second. It is only 9 seconds for Finley, though, of penalties. So he should be safe for that podium finish, as long as he doesn't bin it on the final lap here.
Yeah, there we go. Luca Rapassa there, the leader all race long. We'll acknowledge him now at the very, very end of the race as he comes through. Anthony Knowles, one final time. Lots of weaving across the track to celebrate a win that was always on the cards, really. And Short Marcus, he's coming through Tabak now for his tour. He is the how do I phrase it? The not spiritual, the
People's Race winner.
The People's Race winner, that's the one. That's what I was looking for. As he comes across, Short Marcus, a decent performance from him at a track he loves so very much, comes home in P2 as the People's winner there. Then Finley, of course, a little bit further down the road. As he comes across the line, there he goes to finish on the podium. Reshka's run a great race as well. Where did he start, actually? I feel like he started fairly low down. Oh, P8, yeah, so up 4 places. Not bad
Cialda has
all.
done enough. He's coming around the final corner. He's kept Speed behind. What a performance from Cialda. He's my driver of the day today. I don't know about you, Sumo. Speed Alcoholic comes home in P6. Also a great shout for driver of the day for him too. But really good race from those guys. Very well done to everyone who finished this race. Very, very tough to do 39 laps around Monaco. So all the respect to the ESRL drivers today. Yeah, very, very good race actually.
Yeah, Marcus let Luca win there. He let him have it easy. I didn't want to dampen his spirits too much. The superhuman on the podium. No sight of the Prince of Monaco, or whatever he is. I don't know, something. It's probably not the best thing to say as a commentator, but what are you gonna do? But yes, celebrating on the podium, of course. Long old race. I don't know how some of these drivers do it, guys. 2 races back to back. I struggle with sprint races, to be honest. But there you go. Then Luca Rapace, your winner this evening on the top. The people's winner, though, short Marcus in the McLaren. Some 28.9 seconds behind. Then Finley rounding off the rest of the podium. Reshka, P4, great drive from him. Cialda, yeah, driver of the day for sure. P10 to P5 and held off speed for so long on those mediums. I'll agree with you there, Ghost. Speed Alcoholic then in P6 with Johnny Stokes, Scotty, Isenborg and Womack rounding off your top 10. Jack Lacko comes home P11. I'm not sure what happened to Jacko right at the end. Had no game audio for the last 3 laps apparently.
Yeah.
With Scaparo, TF Mark 10 being classified but not finishing. Then Palang, QB, Scott, Godzilla and Super Spy all not finishing the race.
All things considered, I think that was a pretty fun Monaco Grand Prix. I don't know about you, there were battles happening up and down. We had a safety car, which is unheard of in the last few years of F1 games around this circuit. But yeah, well done to all the drivers today. But yeah, it would be so nice to have Ayrton back, actually.
It would.
I think the best thing about Ayrton, despite 3 titles in a row, he's a humble guy without being condescending. Is what I always found. I was mad at him because he was winning everything, but I couldn't be mad at him as a person.
Yeah, that's sort of the best sort of winner out there, I guess. Apparently, others had an audio glitch. Add that to the list of glitches. Yeah, look, I'll touch upon it briefly before we end, but the fact that we've gone probably about 3 or 4 F1 games with the same handful of glitches is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, we'll probably talk about it on a podcast at some point, but Jesus Christ, Codemasters, sort it out. Or better yet, somebody else come and make a better F1 game. Because Jesus Christ, it's getting ridiculous now. But well, Ghost, any final thoughts then to wrap up this Monaco Grand Prix?
Yeah, unfortunately, EA are not going to care about bugs because they know people will still buy the game, just like FIFA or whatever it's now called. So yeah, that's just capitalism. That's the way it is. That's the way EA are. So we've just got to accept it and grin and bear it, unfortunately. But yeah, is what it is. But as for this race, I thought it was a pretty decent Monaco Grand Prix, one of the better ones I've commentated on. Plenty of action, plenty of battles to watch. And some really, really good drives out there. So well done to Marcus on the win, and everyone who finished behind. And commiserations to Jacko for losing his point in the last few laps due to a glitch there.
Yeah, I've definitely had worse Monaco Grand Prix than this one in the comms box. That is for sure. But well done to all the drivers for making it all the way to the end. Thank you to everybody who took part in the live chat as well, and everybody who has watched both live and after the fact as well. Do make sure to subscribe if you've not done so already to both myself and to Ghost as well, to stay up to date with all of the racing action that is happening. And if you feel like it as well, if you've got a spare hour and a half, or however long it is we decide this podcast is going to be, then do go check out the APPF1 podcast, where we talk all things APPF1 and Formula 1 as well over on Spotify. It's the APPF1 podcast. Search it up, follow us, or whatever it is you do on Spotify. I don't know. I just turn up to the podcasts in all honesty. But anyway, I'll stop rambling on. Thank you all so very, very much for watching. I've been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we shall see you all hopefully next Friday for some more ESRL Division 1. Goodbye.